Think you know Scorsese's masterpiece? Think again. Behind Killers of the Flower Moon lurks a storm of hidden scandals. Real explosions gone wrong, ghostly whispers on sacred ground, and a scene so disturbing Apple locked it in a vault forever. Even the FBI had eyes on the script. Some actors broke down. Others claimed the dead were still watching. This was the film Martin Scorsese was never supposed to make. A story drenched in blood, betrayal, and secrets so dark that Hollywood itself feared it might never see the light of day. Because Killers of the Flower Moon isn't just a tale of murder. It's a mirror reflecting America's buried sins. Behind the cameras, real danger brewed. Battles over money, casting chaos, and sensitive history, so explosive it nearly shut the project down. Tonight, we expose 20 shocking truths Hollywood didn't want revealed. And at the very end, one bonus fact, more disturbing than them all. Fact 1. A dream. 3 decades in the making. Martin Scorsese wanted to make Killers of the Flower Moon for nearly 30 years, but studios constantly rejected it. The story was too grim, too expensive, too political. It wasn't until Apple stepped in with a massive budget that the film came alive. Yet insiders revealed Apple pressured Scorsese to tone down some truths. Imagine that. The very film meant to reveal America's sins was nearly buried under corporate censorship. Scorsese refused. He risked his legacy for the story he believed had to be told. Fact 2. FBI eyes on the script. Few films have ever caught the attention of the FBI, but this one did. The Bureau worried the story might damage their reputation, since the Osage murders were among their earliest investigations. Early drafts painted them as incompetent, almost complicit. According to whispers from crew members, FBI representatives actually sat in script discussions. While not every note was followed, some crucial failures of the Bureau were smoothed over. History almost got rewritten a second time, by the very agency meant to protect the truth. Fact 3. Leo's role switch changed everything. Leonardo DiCaprio was first signed to play FBI agent Tom White, the heroic figure. But after reading the book, DiCaprio told Scorsese he wanted Ernest Burkhart instead, the weak, corrupted nephew entangled in murder. Studio executives panicked, their biggest star playing a morally broken villain? But DiCaprio refused to budge. That change forced a complete script rewrite and shifted the film from detective story to intimate betrayal. It was no longer about justice. It became about complicity, and it made the film far more haunting. Fact 4. Robert De Niro's transformation. Robert De Niro, playing William Hale, immersed himself so deeply in the role that locals reported being unsettled by him. He would wander Oklahoma fields barefoot at night, rehearsing lines under his breath. One Osage elder refused to stand near him during ceremonies, saying he carries Hale with him. De Niro didn't just play a villain, he became one. On set, crew members whispered that he radiated a chilling authority, as if the real Hale had returned to life. It blurred the line between acting and possession. Fact 5. Lily Gladstone. Almost quit acting before Killers, Lily Gladstone considered leaving Hollywood altogether. Tired of stereotypes and limited roles for Native women, she had started applying for other jobs. Then Scorsese reached out directly, saying he had written Molly Burkhart with her in mind. She accepted. Hesitantly. On her first day, she broke down in tears, realizing the weight of representing her people's suffering. Her performance became the film's soul. Without her, the movie might have collapsed under criticism of inauthentic casting. Instead, she became its most celebrated voice. Fact 6. Osage elders took control. Hollywood usually dictates history. Not this time. The Osage Nation demanded full consultation, reviewing scripts, costumes, even prayers. At one point, a key burial scene was halted when elders declared it inaccurate. Production froze for 2 days until Scorsese agreed to their changes. This wasn't just cultural input, it was cultural power. For once, indigenous voices weren't background. They were front and center, correcting Hollywood itself. That decision gave the film authenticity, but also tension. Some crew privately complained, "We're not directing anymore. The Osage are." Fact 7. Filming on sacred ground sparked fear. Several scenes were shot on Osage burial grounds. Crew members reported strange events, equipment failing, sudden gusts of wind, and unexplained collapses. One night, the entire set lost power, though no nearby grid reported issues. Lily Gladstone described it as the ancestors reminding us to tell it right. Others weren't so calm. A lighting technician swore he saw shadowy figures moving among the graves at night. Whether superstition or something more, the set carried a heavy, haunted atmosphere that no Hollywood stage could replicate. Fact 8. A $200 million gamble. Apple poured more than $200 million into the film, one of the highest budgets ever for a Western drama. Executives panicked over a 3.5-hour runtime with no conventional happy ending. Leaked memos show debates about cutting Molly Burkhart's suffering to make it less grim. Scorsese threatened to walk if edits weakened the story. Apple relented, but the fight left scars. Some critics argue the uneven pacing came directly from this tug-of-war. A story about power struggles became a film born from one. Fact 9. The locked vault scene. There exists a deleted sequence so disturbing it may never be released. It depicted an Osage family burned alive in their home. Test audiences were horrified. Some walked out. Apple executives immediately demanded its removal, fearing backlash. The footage exists, but it's locked away in Apple's private archives. Scorsese once hinted, "It's too real for cinema." Whether too brutal or too truthful, that lost scene raises questions. Did Apple protect audiences? Or did they censor history once again? Fact 10. An actor's breakdown. One supporting actor, portraying an Osage victim, reportedly suffered a breakdown during a violent scene. After filming, he screamed uncontrollably, repeating, "It's happening again." Crew froze, unsure if it was acting or possession. He later admitted he saw faces in the fire during the scene. Production shut down for hours. Though never officially documented, whispers of this incident spread across the set. Some believed the role had spiritually consumed him. Others said it was simply trauma, manifesting through performance. Either way, it left scars. Fact 11. DiCaprio's dangerous method. To embody Ernest Burkhart's guilt and weakness, DiCaprio starved himself for days, wanting his hollow appearance to mirror Ernest's decay. He lived in near silence, speaking only in character. Assistants avoided him, saying, "It felt like Ernest lived among us." De Niro even joked, "Kid, you'll drive yourself insane." But for DiCaprio, it wasn't a joke. Crew recalled his eyes appearing haunted, unfocused, as though he believed he really was Ernest. The performance was brilliant, but it left many asking if the cost was too high. Fact 12. Letters of death. In the film, chilling letters sent to the Osage appear on screen. These weren't just props. They were replicas of actual archived letters from the 1920s. Some crew said the copies carried a musty smell, as if the history itself clung to them. When Osage elders saw them, some refused to touch the paper, whispering, "These letters killed our people." That eerie authenticity gave the film a disturbing edge. It wasn't just acting. It was reenacting a genocide, using the very words that helped cause it. Fact 13. Explosion gone wrong. Scorsese insisted on using practical explosives for a house bombing scene, but the controlled blast misfired, shattering windows in nearby homes and filling the area with smoke. Fire crews rushed in, and locals complained of debris days later. Though no one was injured, insurance costs skyrocketed. The crew never forgot it. Real destruction echoing real history. As one witness said, "It wasn't just a stunt. It felt like the Osage homes were burning all over again." Sometimes, authenticity cuts too close to the bone. Fact 14. Scorsese's collapse. During production, Martin Scorsese reportedly collapsed from exhaustion. Doctors urged him to slow down, but he refused, saying, "If I die, I'll die with this story in my hands." Crew quietly prepared emergency protocols, fearing they might lose the director mid-shoot. For Scorsese, the Osage story wasn't just another film, it was his final stand. That collapse became symbolic, the toll of telling truths Hollywood would rather bury. Even giants like Scorsese can nearly fall under the weight of America's hidden sins. Fact 15. Lily Gladstone's silent protest producers once asked Lily Gladstone to soften her anger in a scene, hoping audiences would sympathize more with DiCaprio's Ernest. She refused. Instead, she delivered a silent, piercing stare so intense it froze the set. Scorsese left it uncut. That look became one of the most haunting shots in the film, a defiance not just of Ernest, but of Hollywood's demand for palatable native pain. Gladstone's protest was silent, but it roared across the screen. It was her moment of reclaiming power. Fact 16. The extra pay controversy. Hundreds of Osage extras joined the production, appearing in dances, ceremonies, and crowd scenes. But some whispered they were underpaid compared to union actors. A cruel echo of history, one elder called it. When Scorsese learned of the complaints, he demanded adjustments. Apple quietly renegotiated. But the controversy lingers. How ironic. A movie exposing exploitation nearly repeated exploitation behind the scenes. The truth of Hollywood, progress mixed with hypocrisy, shadowed the set as much as the story itself. Fact 17. The band poster. Early marketing featured a poster of DiCaprio and De Niro looming over a burning Osage home. Test groups found it offensive, calling it a glorification of white violence. Apple pulled it immediately. Only a few leaked images prove it ever existed. Some argued it was insensitive. Others said it was honest. Either way, the design was erased overnight. Today, collectors hunt for surviving proofs of the band poster. A marketing misstep, or another attempt to hide history's brutality from modern audiences. Fact 18. The premiere. That glitched at Cannes during the world premiere, disaster struck. The film cut out mid-scene. For 15 terrifying minutes, the audience sat in silence, some whispering about sabotage. When the film resumed, the applause was thunderous, but the omen stuck. Rumors spread. The ancestors shut it down. Whether technical glitch or supernatural interference, the event gave the premiere a haunted edge. Even in its celebration, Killers of the Flower Moon couldn't escape the feeling of unfinished business and unseen forces watching closely. Fact 19. The ending that shook audiences. Originally, Scorsese wanted to end with Molly Burkhart's funeral, a tragic but respectful closure. Instead, he chose something stranger, a radio show epilogue mocking the murders as entertainment. Some executives hated it, fearing audiences would leave unsettled. But Scorsese insisted. That's the point. He wanted viewers angry, disgusted, reflective. And it worked. The ending became one of the most talked-about choices of his career. Instead of comfort, audiences left with the sting of complicity. It wasn't just a film ending. It was a gut punch. Fact 20. The Ghost of William Hale. On the final day of filming, Robert De Niro whispered, "The old man's still here." Crew members laughed nervously, but locals weren't amused. They claimed De Niro had been wandering alone at dawn, staring at Osage graves. Some believed he had absorbed Hale's spirit. Whether method acting or something more, the chilling moment cast a shadow over the wrap party. Even after production ended, crew said the weight of Hale lingered. The villain wasn't just on screen, he was still among them. Bonus fact 21. The buried tapes. Just when you thought the secrets ended, there's one more. Osage elders revealed audio tapes from the 1970s, where descendants whispered names of uncharged accomplices. The tapes also captured eerie chants, some claiming voices of the dead were present. Apple tried to acquire them, but negotiations collapsed. The elders pulled the tapes, saying, "Some truths aren't meant for Hollywood." Today, they remain locked away, hidden from the public. If released, they could change everything we know about the murders and shatter illusions of justice forever.